We're going to get into a whole lot of playing here in just a second, but before we do, real fast, why don't we talk about the equipment that you use, starting with amps.
I've been using Marshall amps for a while.
50 watt?
And yeah, 50 watt Marshall amps because I like the low volume. You can get tons of hair and distortion and everything. And I love the sound of them because they've got lots of low end and just something about the chunk that they get is really great.
Now I know you don't use a lot of effects on record because they get in the way of the signal.
Right. That's right.
But on stage, what do you use?
Live, I use just a little bit of echo or maybe a little bit of reverb. I don't like to use a lot of effects live because the more stuff you put in your signal, the muddier it gets. So I just keep it pretty sparse.
Now let's talk about this guitar. You designed this one yourself.
Yeah, I did design this. It took me a little while. It was harder than I thought, but I came up with the exact kind of guitar that I've always wanted to have.
The cutaway.
I did this cutaway in the back because I love the way that looks, and I used some pretty unique woods. I've got on the top koa, a flamed koa top, and I love the look of flame. And that's a very bright sounding wood. And in the back, I've got mahogany, which is very bass. A lot of bass in the sound. So you put those together, and you've got a very wide range of sounds. And as far as the neck here, I found a wood called pau ferro. It's a Brazilian, very hard wood, and the sustain is incredible.
Sustains for days.
Oh yeah, it's great.
The pickups are EMGs.
Yeah, I've always used EMGs. They're great for me because they're really quiet as far as noise. There's no noise, and they're very loud. And this is a brand new EMG. It's not on the market yet, I don't think. But it has a coil tap in the humbucker, so I can get that single coil sound.
Great.
It's a great thing, yeah. And I don't have a tone knob. The tone knob, I disposed of that because I thought it was, why have one?
You don't use it?
No one ever uses one.
You use a Floyd Rose, of course.
Yep, always use the Floyd Rose. I like it because I can adjust the tone arm how I like it, and I'm one of the only players that I know of that uses that keeps it right here, right next to the strings when I'm playing.
So let's talk about how you have your guitar set up.
Okay. As far as action is concerned, I like it real low. I do a lot of tapping, as you know.
Yeah.
And so when the action is low, I can just really fly around the neck, and I like that. The only thing is sometimes I have troubles with buzzing, so I check it out by bending a note, usually on the high E string or the B string, and then I whammy it to see if it frets out. I'll do it here in the middle of the neck, and then up here. And then I'll do it way up on the top, the highest note you can kind of play on a guitar.
Good clear sound.
Yeah, and then I'll just run up maybe a pentatonic scale and do it here and see how it goes.
Now how do you actually like the fret height on your guitar?
Well, I've noticed that on most of the guitars that you see in a music store have really big frets, jumbo frets they call them, and your fingers really get stuck, or mine do anyway, they get stuck on them. So I get very flat frets that are very small, and that really works for me. I can really slide around.
Yeah. What string gauge do you use?
From top to bottom, it's 42 on the low E, then 32, 24, 16, 11, and 9.
9. Now, unlike a lot of other hard rock players, you do something that Keith Richards popularized, Nashville stringing.
Right.
Which is something entirely different than this. So
I strung this up.
We happen to have right here guitar Nashville strung.
Yeah.
Which is really good for bringing out different tones on a record.
Yeah, it really does work well. We started doing it on the song Madeleine on the first record. We didn't have a 12-string guitar, so I just took the top end of a 12-string set and strung up my guitar with it.
Yeah.
Top to bottom, it sounds like very different sound.
Nice chimey sound.
Yeah, and in Madeleine it will sound a lot different.
Sounds nice.
It is nice, yeah. It's like...
So I can really bring out a track then, so all the tonalities don't sound the same.
Yeah, especially when you're using distortion. It doesn't sound like it does, but it really does.
Scales. Let's talk about how